الرحيم. اوكي، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Okay, anyone open the mic? You can close the mic. I need my sound only. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You will find in front of you the Winamp talking about your learning outcome. Inshallah, today we are going to talk about the last learning outcome. It's talking about from week 12 to week 14, the cracking the crude oil and using the resulting molecule in the fuel combustion environment. Consequences: the carbon monoxide, nitric oxide, vanadium oxide, and the greenhouse gases that's out from the burning of the fuel. So we are going to talk about the hydrocarbon of the fuel, greenhouse effect, and crude oil. But before talking about it, we must talking about the alcohol. So our topic today, inshallah, we are going to talk about the alcohol before covering this learning outcome. Okay, maybe return to the alcohols before talking about the last learning outcome. Okay, so today, inshallah, we are going to talk about the alcohol. It is related to the learning outcome 10. Okay, our concept is talking about the alcohol. Today the date is 14/4/2020. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Firstly, when we start talking about the alcohol, we must talk about the functional group. So we'll find the ROH and AROH. What is the difference between the two functional groups? The first one we will find that is the alkyl group like CH3 attaching with the OH, maybe CH3 CH2 OH. When the alkyl or R attaching to the OH is giving to us alcohols. But when we find the AR attaching to the OH, it means that the phenyl group or benzene ring attach with it the hydroxyl group. So phenyl hydroxy phenyl, it means that phenol. Okay, as we said before, we must differentiate between phenyl and vinyl. The difference: phenyl, it means that phenyl or benzyl means that the benzene ring and the position for the bond is not attached to it, or maybe C6H5 and the position for attaching another group. But vinyl, it means that ethene that have a double bond and one position is lifted, maybe for chlorine, so it's called vinyl chloride, maybe for the hydroxyl it will be vinyl alcohol, maybe for the bromine it will be vinyl chloride. So like this example, it will be vinyl alcohol. Okay, now we are going to talk about the alcohol. As is our topic today, inshallah, the alcohol. Let's talk about it. Bismillah. When we talk about the alcohol, we must firstly talk about the way of classification of the alcohol, the nomenclature or the naming of the alcohol. Firstly, we'll start to way of alcohol classification. Firstly, according to hydroxyl attaching number 2 classification of monohydric alcohol. Firstly, according to the number of the hydroxyl group, we'll find that maybe monohydric, the second one dihydric, trihydric, and the last one it will be polyhydric. For the monohydric, firstly, it means that the number only one hydroxyl group attaching with it, so it will be CH3OH. Dihydric, it means that the two hydroxyl group attaching with it, CH2, CH2, OH, OH. Trihydric, it means that the three hydroxyl group is attaching with it. Three hydroxyl groups, so it will be CH2, CH2, OH, OH. It's the same, Mr. The same to the dihydric. No. We're breaking for the bond position, we're breaking from this side, so it will be CH, OH. Polyhydric, it will be CH2, CH2, OH, OH. The position, empty position, it will be CH, OH. Same, Mr. to the trihydric. No, it's not same. Since we have the 4 CHOH. For the naming of this compound, we have a two-way for giving the name. Maybe common name, common. Maybe the IUPAC system name, IUPAC. For the common name, we put the alkyl plus alcohol. For the IUPAC, alkyl plus all. Or using the syllabus 1 and 2. So for this, it will be, when you have only one carbon atom, it means miss. And then we add all methane for the one carbon atom. Then adding all methanol. This is for the IUPAC. But for the common name, it's giving to us ethyl. Since when you have one carbon atom, it will be methyl. Then adding the word alcohol, ethyl alcohol. Some name or some common name, it's not related to the rule, it's related to the commercial using. Like this is common name, it's called the ethylene glycol. Ethylene glycol or ethylene glycol, it is one from the compounds that used in the car radiatory for the cooling purpose. It's called the green water that used in the car radiatory. Okay? But for the IUPAC name, we're choosing a long carbon chain, 1, 2. In a long carbon chain, we'll find 1 and 2, so it's 1, 2, dihydroxy Mrs. ethene. For this, it will be glycerol. Is used in the moisture cream or moistening cream for the skin. But for the IUPAC system, it will be 1, 2, and 3 tri-hydroxy propane. For this, it's called the sorbitol. It is one from the polyhydric. According to the IUPAC name, we'll find the 4 carbon atom. So if we clarify it at the bonds, 1 carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4, CH2. So we'll find this CH2Ls, OH, 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 OH. For the naming of this compound, so it will be CH, H, H, and H. It will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hexa hydroxy Miss proputbent hexane. Okay, this is a classification according to the number of the hydroxyl group. Now we are going to talk about the classification according to the monohydric alcohol. What's meant by monohydric alcohol? The alcohol that have only one hydroxyl group. Okay? Any question about this point before transfer to another?
No.
No, Jonas.
Okay, let's
No.
go to the second part. It's talking about the classification of the monohydric alcohol. Okay, Bismillah. Okay. Classification of the monohydric alcohol. Monohydric alcohol, it means that they are contain OH. Maybe and have the three form of the R. Maybe CH2 R, CH2 OH, maybe R, CH R OH, maybe R R R OH. For as an example, CH3 CH2 OH. Classification of the monohydric alcohol, talking about the carbonyl group. What's meant by the carbonyl group? It means that the carbon atom attaching to the hydroxyl group. This is called the carbonyl group. Maybe carbonyl group, in this case, attaching with the 1R and the 2H. Maybe carbonyl group attaching with the 1H only and 2R. Maybe carbonyl group there is no H and attaching with the 3R. As an example, CH2OH, it's called the classification. In this case, it will call primary. So when we're giving the name for this compound, it will be 1 carbon, 2 carbon, it means ethyl alcohol. This is the common name. But when we're talking about the IUPAC name, 1, 2, so it's called ethan, then added the syllabus ol. So it's called the ethanol. For this, as an example, so it will be CH3, C, H, CH3, OH. Firstly, for the common name, when we'll find the carbon atom taking the shape of letter L, so it's called iso or secondary. Iso what? Miss is propyl, isopropyl alcohol. As one of the compounds that can be manufactured in the form of the gel to use for sterilization, isopropyl alcohol. You can find it in any place like the hospital. It's using for the sterilizing process, isopropyl alcohol. But when I'm talking about the IUPAC system name, this is the common name, isopropyl. Iso, since the carbon atom is taking the shape of letter L. For the IUPAC system, 1, 2, 3. In the carbon atom number 2, we'll find the hydroxyl group. So we said 2 dash mis is prop. So 2 propanol. So let's talking about the third one. Only the carbon atom attaching with the OH, the carbonyl group, directly to the OH, but CH3, CH3, CH3. When we're talking about this, we'll find the carbon atom taking the shape of the T letter. So in this case, as we said, this is a primary, this is called the secondary. The third one, when we'll find the carbon atom in the carbon skeletal, it taking the shape of the letter T, so we said that tertiary alcohol. When I'm giving the name according to the carbon system, we count all the carbon atom in the carbon skeletal. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not talking about the longest carbon chain or the connection of the carbon. We said the all carbon atom, the common name, it's collect all the carbon atom in the carbon skeletal. So it's called mes s propute. So it's called tertiary tertiary butyl alcohol. Tertiary butyl alcohol. But when we are going to talk about the IUPAC system, we must choose the longest carbon chains. So this is called it will be the longest carbon chain. This is the longest carbon chain. And in the carbon atom, this is atom number 1, 2, 3. In the carbon atom number 2, we'll find 2, comma, methyl. This is like the branch, so it's called methyl dash 2 mis is propanol. Okay. Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. We'll wait for the moment. I'm making the pause for recording, only for the adhan, listening the adhan, then return back, inshallah. Allah Akbar.